Marriage is like a fine wine. It gets better with age. But let's be honest, sometimes it feels more like a half-empty bottle of soda that's lost its fizz. After years of shared laundry, arguing over the thermostat, and debating who left the cap off the toothpaste, it's easy for the passion and desire that once came so naturally to take a back seat. So, what's the secret to keeping the spark alive in a long-term marriage, when life has you arguing over who's hogging the blankets instead of whispering sweet nothings? The truth is, maintaining desire in a long-term marriage isn't about being perpetually infatuated or trying to relive the honeymoon phase, though that wouldn't hurt. It's about finding new ways to keep things exciting, emotionally connected, and most importantly, fun. The good news? You don't need grand gestures or a personal fireworks show to reignite the passion. A little effort, a lot of laughter, and a dash of creativity can do wonders to keep that fire burning. One of the first steps to keeping things interesting is communication. And no, not the kind where you're yelling from room to room asking where the remote is. We're talking about real, meaningful communication. The kind you used to have back when you talked for hours without worrying about who was getting up with the baby. Over time, it's easy to fall into the habit of only discussing who's picking up the groceries or which kid needs to be at soccer practice. But remember those early days when you couldn't wait to talk to each other about anything and everything? That's the vibe we're going for. It's also crucial to talk about your needs and desires in the relationship, especially when it comes to intimacy. You're not a mind reader, and neither is your partner. Over time, what you want in a relationship and in bed might change, and that's perfectly normal. But if you don't talk about it, it's easy for things to feel stagnant. Be open about what's working, what isn't, and what could be spiced up a little. These conversations can be uncomfortable at first, but they're key to keeping the relationship exciting and building trust. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Vulnerability. No, not the kind where you forgot to lock the bathroom door and now your partner is laughing at your shampoo mohawk. We're talking about emotional vulnerability, the willingness to share your deepest thoughts, desires, and even insecurities. Sure, it's scary, but it's also one of the most powerful ways to deepen intimacy. When both partners feel safe enough to be vulnerable, it creates a closeness that makes the physical connection even stronger. And let's face it, when you feel emotionally safe with your partner, it's a lot easier to want to rip their clothes off. Speaking of ripping clothes off, let's not underestimate the power of physical touch. But here's the catch. It doesn't have to lead to anything ahem serious every time. Simple, non-sexual touches, like holding hands, hugging, or even a spontaneous back rub can help maintain the connection. These small gestures show affection and remind your partner that you're still attracted to them. Plus, oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, gets released during physical touch, helping to keep the emotional bond strong and the desire alive. Of course, let's not forget the main event, sex. Over time, it's easy for the physical side of marriage to become routine, or worse, to slip down the priority list behind laundry and PTA meetings. But keeping sexual intimacy alive is essential. This doesn't mean you need to suddenly become acrobats in the bedroom, though if that's your thing, more power to you. What it does mean is keeping things fresh, experimenting with what feels good, and communicating your desires. It's about evolving together as a couple and making time to reconnect physically, even when life gets busy. But maintaining passion isn't just about what happens in the bedroom, it's also about keeping a sense of novelty and surprise in your relationship. Remember when you used to plan spontaneous weekend getaways or surprise your partner with their favorite dessert just because? Those little things matter. Surprises, whether big or small, remind your partner that you're thinking of them and can bring back that sense of excitement and spontaneity that was so abundant early on. You don't have to break the bank or take extravagant trips to keep the novelty alive. Sometimes, a thoughtful gesture or a new shared experience is enough to reignite the spark. Another important piece of the puzzle is maintaining your individuality. One of the biggest misconceptions about marriage is that you have to do everything together to stay close. In reality, having your own interests, hobbies, and friendships can actually strengthen the relationship. When you're able to grow as individuals, you bring more to the table as a couple. Plus, having your own passions gives you something new to share and talk about. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating insights into Islamic history and lifestyle.